Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Thank
Can
you.
you hear us?
Yep.
Call this committee of the whole meeting to order for September the 3rd, 2024. I would like to recognize that we're on Treaty 5 territory, ancestral lands of the Ditches Ways of Cree Nation, and homeland of the Métis. Next, I would like to have an approval of the agenda. Councillor Fitzpatrick. Councillor Chong, all in favor? Carried.
Aye.
Next, we're going to have presentations and delegations. Northern Transportation and Symposium delegation of the Chamber of Commerce. Please come forward.
Actually, some sheets here that we'll cover quickly. We'll see that one of them is a little bit confidential. That one.
So what we are passing right now are the speakers and also some confidential information of what we did prior to and through the symposium.
Yeah.
And we're also passing the program, right?
Yes, that's right.
We are here because we want to thank you for giving us a hand and giving us the sponsorship. And also we would like to discuss the real objective of why we came up with this transportation symposium. Okay, like we said before, when we first presented this transportation symposium, we have initiated this because we would like to have our northern community be accessible. And for it being accessible, we are inviting people to be here, and as well as if we're accessible, supply chain will be less of a cost. So as we know, living in the north is really a high cost right now. So if we are accessible, that will be hit, and as well as our nearby communities. We've seen that the roads during winter time are no longer there. So this has really triggered us. So we would like, in this forum, on this symposium, we are inviting different transportation forms from air, from land, and as well as future transportation that we could adopt for us to be accessible. And I would like to give the floor to Volker to further discuss.
Yeah, I think it's important. Since we've been working in this for the last 6 or 7 months, I have spoken to a lot of people through email, text, phone calls, and so on. And what I've learned overall, that everybody is doing good work, but what we've decided to do here is put these different speakers into sectors. So there's a rail sector, there's an air sector, there's a highway sector, road sector, and so on. And I've learned a little bit that the sectors are doing good things. Let's say, like, there's a major airport in Thompson, there's rail line stabilization to Churchill. But one side, the rail doesn't talk to the air, but doesn't speak to the winter roads, so don't speak to the highway folks. So bringing all these different groups together and letting them hear what their priorities and challenges are. The idea will be, by the end of the second day, we will have ideas floating forth. We'll have a sort of a group discussion to see what kind of actions, economic development, let's say even reconciliation attempts should be made by different communities. I actually had a phone call this morning from somebody from God's Lake Narrows, who said, could they come? We just got the information, which is funny because we've been sending out hundreds of emails, but nonetheless. And I said, well, it's too late. We're already sold out, but if you want to come this far, we'll fit you in somewhere because we have to have meals, we have to have name tags, we have to have chairs, all that stuff. That's why the registration ended last week. And then he called back, there was no way that he could fly from God's Lake Narrows to here because Bremer doesn't have that schedule. So again, if we had more time, I'm sure there'd be more people. We have actually sold out. I think we're over 100 people that were coming together. And the Minister of Transportation, of course, is coming. I just called their office likely yesterday, and they phoned back. They're still looking for a hotel room for her because all of the hotel rooms have sold out. But we will find a room, trust me, for the minister, for her and her staff to be here for 2 days. So there'll be some sideline meetings going on. And we have an interesting guest coming all the way from Massachusetts, United States, with a project and a proposal that could create sort of an ancillary industry in Thompson. And we've invited him to come. He won't be a speaker, but he'll be meeting people and looking at the opportunities that he has. So you'll see there, you have a copy of the agenda, and we've had to make a lot of adjustments because some people can only get one day, they can't the other day. We're trying to fit all these people together. So it's been an ongoing sort of adjustment, and that's okay. We have it now pretty well concrete. You'll see the name of the speakers, and Chuck Davidson, who's the CEO of the Manitoba Chamber of Commerce, will be the MC. And I think the mayor will be giving some opening readings in the first morning, if you don't know that already, Madam Mayor.
I'm on
You're
the
there.
list.
You're on it.
Yeah.
Okay, and the one sheet I'll leave you here was just because I did notice I wasn't here at the last meeting when the city was discussing their sponsorship. We thank you for being a silver sponsor. You have 2-3 reps to fit that. We need to know who those 2 people are before Thursday because we have to get their name tags in place. So please let us know, right? But anyway, some comments were made that I know. You didn't have all the facts. So that's why I want to leave you this sheet to show you how much work we have done to engage northern communities, all right, just for your information. And there will be some people coming representing individual First Nation communities on different topics, which is good to know too. So kind of that's the background there. There's one little blank here, that's Via Rail. We tried for months to find somebody at Via Rail. Good luck with that. All you do is get a customer service email reply that said, for example, oh, you can contact our manager in Thompson and ask him to come. You know, the manager in Thompson is a ticket agent at the Ritz train station.
Yeah, we don't have.
She cannot take 2 days off work or has any authority. So we had discussions and they were gonna send somebody, but that person says they've only been at this job for 3 months. I don't feel comfortable coming or speaking. So Via Rail is not in the picture, right? So we've tried as much as possible, but we have 15 different speakers, 15 different topics, 4 or 5 modes. So there will be a lot covered. And I'm very confident there will be things coming out of that will be benefits to Thompson business wise and, you know, in terms of improvement, development, new collaboration, and new opportunities. So that's kind of the gist of where this is going. And we're saying right now, nobody else is allowed to come because we just cannot fit you in anymore. But we need to know who the 2 people will be from the city of Thompson. Okay?
Thank you. We've actually just asked around, everybody's schedules are sort of, some can go for part, like again, part of a day and.
Well, you can look at the agenda now, you know exactly.
Yeah, now
what
we have the
fits.
agenda.
Absolutely, you betcha. Okay, that's it.
Do you have any further questions?
Any questions, council? Comments? Council Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No question, just comment, congratulations for this success and unfortunately I cannot make it. I like to be there. But I have to pick up my CEO, so I have to go to.
I can let you know, we're gonna videotape the whole session
Yes.
and we'll cut it into the different speakers and it'll be posted on the Chamber of Commerce website for a year. So anybody can re-listen or if they didn't see, be able, you know, hopefully within a week or so, be able to see what all the speakers were talking about. That should help too, for the records. Okay?
Appreciate it, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Councilor Chong?
Yeah. Thank you for all the hard work you do for putting this important go ahead and like myself, if I only can attend one day session. Is it possible or I have to do two?
Depends whether you want to eat or not, chew.
Okay,
Because this session includes meals, but I'm sure we can find another chair for you, absolutely, you betcha,
right,
betcha.
Yeah.
okay, I will discuss with our mayor.
Okay,
Okay,
absolutely.
thanks.
Yeah, you know what, and if you wanted to share like half one day, half another day, I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, the reason was we just needed to know advance because the food services and everything else needed a week to determine how the agenda is and how the meals are going to go. So that's why we had it done last week.
Okay,
Okay,
anyone else? Councilor Kerr.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify, I will be present, but I did register through work. So I am,
through North Central.
yeah, so I
Okay.
will be there.
Okay, good.
Just to.
So you'll be able to report back wearing 2 caps. Okay.
So I did just want to say I'm registered and I'll be there, so I look
Okay.
forward to seeing you on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, because we did have a talk to say there will be things coming out of here that will require follow-up. And will require actions to keep them going, because things don't happen by themselves. So the question will be, some of our development corporations, 2 or 3, may want to sit down as we develop sort of a report plan as to what are the actions necessary that will come out of this thing for the future.
Thank you. Councilor Lundmark.
I just wanted to say thank you for setting this all up, all the hard work that goes into it, and trying to convince the people to come and see them all in one room. I hope everything, I'm looking forward to it and seeing what comes out of it. Thank you.
And you know what, again, Brian, thank you for the Thompson Community Development Corporation's help. Rosanna's been helping a lot over the last few months and so on, so we appreciate that extra effort as well. Okay,
Thanks.
Well, it sounds like it's gonna be a very exciting couple of days, busy couple of days. Like I said, I know I'm giving readings and I would like to spend some time there. If I don't get fed, I could be fine. I
you
can
have to give up a meal because we're.
I can handle that, for somebody else, but definitely looking forward to seeing it. Thursday, I'm sort of in and out with, my actual work that I have to do expediting, but Friday I should go spend a fair bit of time. there.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you again for your support.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So next, we're going to move into community comments and feedback. Anything on the agenda tonight? Anybody wants to question? Please come forward. Any comments? Okay. Any community comments or feedback? Third and final time, community comments or feedback? Seeing none, thank you. I'll move on to reports. 6.1 is development report memo from the Director of Development Technical Services. Anthony, are you gonna take that tonight?
I'll take it tonight. The director's away, couldn't attend the meeting tonight. So he provided a meeting for your information as long as with building permit information. With respect to the road renewal, Maple Leaf has completed 8 rotations so far. Their last rotation focused on paving and some curb preparation. They did asphalt work on Juniper, Sandpiper, and Pintail. But they only finished 1 lane at Pintail for the second lift. The remaining lane will be started mid-September when they return. The plan for this next rotation is the milling and paving at Thompson Drive, milling and curb installation on Westwood Drive. And curbing will also be installed on Grey Wolf Bay, Public Lane. And these roads as well as Mallard will follow. For wastewater renewal, Accurate HDs, their phase 2, all the main line on Westwood North has been drilled in, and all services from Mallard and Pike Crescent intersecting to Thompson Drive have been completed. Accurate is working on pressure testing and chlorating, and then we'll sample the lines on Mallard and Pike to Thompson Drive. Once they get those reports, that section will be removed from the temporary service. When Accurate returns from their days off on September 5th, they'll continue installing services for the remainder of the north side. They have about 100 feet of main line to install along the Thompson Drive at the south end of Westwood Drive, from Westwood Drive to Beaver. And one of our new contractors, Alsat Underground, is doing phases 3 and 4 of the project. They started in mid-August. They've installed caps and temporary water lines for Centennial East and Dominion Bay residents and have completed 200 feet of mainline installation. Their plan is to open trench the installation of the line and then complete all the servicings. For the pool project, the main building foundation piles are completed. They're working on piles for the pool tanks, the shallow end and the large pool. They'll be restarting their piling tomorrow. Excavation work will be completed early the week of September 2nd to prepare for installation of those piles. Manitoba Hydro is working on setting up temporary power to the site, and it should be installed in the next few weeks. The ice is back in at the CA Nesbitt Arena and bookings have begun. Ice is scheduled for the GB beginning on October 1st, be ready for use just after Thanksgiving. And they've completed the lighting project that we did in partnership with Efficiency Manitoba for the CA Nesbitt Arena and the Bill Kamaski Wellness Center. Both of them are now on full LED light and they have multi-zone controls and dimmers. For development, we had our RFP out to redo our development plan and zoning bylaws. There were 7 proposals submitted and the team is reviewing the proposals to select the top proponent. And then that'll be brought to council for review and approval. Year to date, there's been 51 permits issued for a total construction value of $10,738,121. That's the report.
Thank you. Any comments? Councillor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thanks for the report. I did ask a few questions last meeting about the Westwood Drive. So I don't see the directors here today, so I don't think I will get
He'll get you your answers for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. And I'd like to add on to a couple of more things. This is a very reliable source that about the water line got a little bit of problem where the Westwood Drive is. Is that true or not?
I believe they had some issues when they were installing lines, but it was related to the sewer lines, but that I'd have to get the director to answer that for you.
Okay, yeah, so I need that. And also I heard another thing that about the phase 3 and 4. The contract awarded to other company, but the subcontract to Agric, is that true or not?
I believe they did subcontract some of their work to Accurate, but I'm not sure what the extent is of their subcontract there.
Is that the tender written they're allowed to do that or?
Yeah, it would be written that way. That's overseen by the water services board, so they would have to approve any of that.
Just to me, it's just stupid. You know, you hire a contractor and then a subcontract. So that means right there, there's a profit up there, the gap. That's what I look at it, right? So anyway, hopefully I can get those report back to the next meeting. Other than that, I think the one more thing about the paving on Pin Hill, I got called. I don't understand why they're paving the first layer and then they move to Juniper and not finish it. So I don't know what the reason. Is it because they're short of asphalt or they're trying to tackle 2 sides at the same time and end up. I seen a little bit of the report from the first paragraph, but it's still not explained to me why they not finish it the whole thing before they jump into Juniper. They've been doing that. I don't understand that part. So I'd like to get the report as well. Thank you.
Anyone else? Comment? Councillor Overdorfer?
Thank you. Madam Mayor, just, I guess for maybe just to add to Anthony's report, just that, the email that you had sent out today about Westwood Drive starting on the 4th and 5th, just for the public's knowledge of the asphalt.
Oh yeah, there'll be asphalt prep work being done on Westwood Drive the next 2 days. Which will impact accessibility. We have it posted on our social media.
That's it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Councillor Fitzpatrick?
Thank you. I'm glad they're starting to pave the streets finally, but I don't understand why Westwood Drive or Pintail for that matter is getting done before Thompson Drive. Thompson Drive was supposed to be last year's work and it's being left in the wayside. It doesn't seem like it's very smart to me. I don't know their companies.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? it's just nice to see so much work going on in our city, and thank you to the residents that have been so patient to it, or the ones that have reached out that have had issues, and just thank you very much. Okay, with that, we'll move on. 6.2 is recreation report. Thompson.
So things are a little slow during the summer months at the TRCC because the ice has been out. We've still been doing activities. The seniors have still been there doing our fitness. We've opened the games room. We still have our drop-in sports, and there's a lot of party bookings. There's also been a lot of outdoor recreational opportunities. We've had the fall diamonds in our soccer fields have been kept busy with a lot of activity. With merchant media, and this is the second year for U18 baseball. And the Thompson Junior Soccer Association, I spoke with them last week. They had just under 500, I think it was 480 or 490 student or children this year compared to around 400 last year. So we're anticipating just getting bigger every year. So they're quite busy there. They keep a lot of the kids engaged, and it is a low cost activity for the kids to partake in during the summer months. The CA, Arena wasn't available as in the director of Miles report for July because they were putting in the LED lights. The gymnasium wasn't available for rent in August because we were installing the lights in the gym in August. So a lot of our drop-in sports, everything was canceled in August because of that. We have the special effects lighting system, which is sponsored by Arctic Beverages. That's now been installed in the CA. We have a few things that we have to do to tweak it. We have thanks to Smitty. He's going to be coming in and helping us out with that. That's kind of his wheelhouse. So he's got some good ideas on the system itself. And as mentioned earlier in Lyle's report, the lights now, we actually don't need to go down into the gymnasium to turn the lights on and off. We can do it all from the one location. So we can dim the lights and turn on the special event lights in one area, which was great to know. So we didn't have to have radios kind of talking back and forth from the gymnasium upstairs. So it's really nice to be able to have that all in one spot. We did have a city event staff there, and we turned them on, and how they're set up right now, it looks really good. Brings that something new, I guess, to the arena. The campus has been open to the public since mid-July. And it will stay open until September when the ice starts going into the GB. We do have a lot of different games. It has been rented for birthday parties and open to the public just for drop-in. We had to close it from time to time because unfortunately we didn't have the staff to be able to oversee it. Last year we were using a facility attendant, but we unfortunately didn't have enough staff apply for those positions, so we were relying upon them to be able to keep it open. So we were only open at least 4 days, sometimes 5 days a week. Outside of that, we've had the rec staff. We planted over 30 flower pots throughout the city. Thompson Community Seniors group, they hired some students, so they took care of the responsibility for watering the flowers this year, which was a great help. And want to thank MKO, Mawita Convention Center, and the TNRC for providing the funding for the flower pots. Those are all new flower pots, with the exception, I believe, of 6 that we've had. So thanks to them. I believe it turned out really nice addition to the downtown area, and we're hoping that we can get additional funding next year and possibly have some hanging plants coming into Thompson on Thompson Drive or Mr. Lake Road, sorry, and just continue to add to it. So for programming for June, July, and August, again, we had our seniors classes. RV Parker used the gymnasium right up until June. They do not need to use it this year, which was nice to know. I spoke with the superintendent, and they're not needing to use it this year. Their gym is ready to use. We had graduation there. We had Nipple Days. July, again, we had Canada Day. We had our first part of our full groundbreaking. And then in August, we had our second part of our groundbreaking. We've had some babysitting courses, seed courses, the game room, and we also hosted the Oxford House, Community Oxfords for the fire evacuation. So coming up next month, or this month, I guess, we have the Health and Nature Mark, on the 6th and 7th. And we also have craft tables that are going to be in the lobby area. And I've listed also for the statistics for the drop-in, and they continue to be consistent with volleyball being, I guess, one of the higher numbers that we have. You notice, again, there's no numbers for August because the gym was not available for rent in August. And the seniors continue to come in and want to increase our numbers now. I think we're up to 67 members now, for seniors or 60 plus that are taking the opportunity to use the fitness area. My report.
Thank you. Any questions? Counselor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thanks for the report. I just want to find out what is the fee that the senior get charged? Is it just the card?
Just the card, yeah.
$6, right?
Somewhere around there, yeah, it's under $10.
Someone up said that they have to pay. I'm like, no, you don't have to pay, but
Just the card.
I just want to clarify. Okay, all right, thank you. So do they get refunded the money or no? When they return the card or just?
No, it's their.
It's a fee.
Yeah, because their photograph would be on it, we have to pay for the cards, and then we have to pay for the system to put their picture and everything on it. So they would keep the card, it's theirs.
Do they get a senior discount for the card?
It's pretty cheap already, so no, I don't think, no.
I try, okay, I'll try. Anyway, thank you.
And if anybody gets the card, it will be the mayor. She will in 1 year.
I try to fight for you.
Okay, any other comment? Counselor Oberdorfer?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for the report. I'm just curious if we had any updates on the play structure equipment for the TRCC.
So actually, I was going to write it in my report, and I had a conversation this afternoon with the city manager about this, because I knew that somebody was gonna ask me about it. So I kind of took away some of the comments and suggestions that were made before through council. And looking at the floor space of what we would take up, if we did put those toys out into the lobby area, especially when the gate is closed. It's probably best to try to leave it in the play area right now. So we can take down what's in there, or we'd like to try to sell it. If we can't, we can just take it down and sell it. After we take it down, it would be best if we had somebody to come in and take it down, so they knew how to put it back together. And then we would probably, we're short on storage space over there, so maybe a small area just to have some cabinets, just to store our goodies and things, because we have no storage to store those things down. And purchase the toys that we received, to put it to the play area, keep that as a play area, and we'll just keep our game room in the GB as we have been doing for the last 3 years. So I guess I was gonna ask council if that's something that they would like us to do. The funding would have to be spent, because we've had it now for 2 years, so I have to start purchasing the toys, to put in there before the end of December.
Any other comments? Sandra, do you get your answer?
Yes, thank you.
I guess I would ask council if they have a preference for the revised plan the directors just proposed.
Deputy Mayor Valentino?
Thanks, Mayor Smith. Sorry, I'm in an airport, so it's a little bit loud, but yeah, I'm all for doing that recommendation and start buying the equipment for the kids. I think it's well needed and everybody asks us about it, so I'm all for it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Counselor Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, Mayor. Yeah, I'm in favor of the director's recommendation. But we really gotta get that other structure out of it. I volunteered to go take it apart for you.
Sign up.
I got nothing else to do.
Yeah, it's been over 2 years now, it's time to move it on.
Let's get it in.
Okay,
Union will allow you. I don't.
So is that, just to confirm, that's a consensus to make that change?
is everybody by show of hands? Yes. See Brian? Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Sonia. Next, we're going to finance. Lynn?
Thank you, Commissioner. Discovered that there was an error in the resolution that was passed last March regarding the tax. In particular, the auction stated that the auction be 2022, meaning all properties with outstanding taxes 2022 are covered. The year highlighted should have read
The 2023 should have been 2023, not the bracket. I apologize for that error. When this was brought to my attention, we saw that we looking through tax service, we've been handling this for us, and the lawyers came back with that the intent was always to include 2022, and they simply said that council just needed to pass an amending resolution to correct the error. And they also advised me that I could proceed with the tax sale as I have been doing since last March. My memo to you also includes an update on the progress of the tax sale to date. Originally, we had 147 properties listed in for sale. I've reached agreement with 25 people so far to redeem their properties through payment arrangements, and I have another 2 in that I'm working on. The 25 that we originally had agreements on, we have only 15 left because the property owners were able to put the funding to pay off their agreements, so that was a good thing. Where we have 28 properties that have no formal plans, payment plans for reduction, for redemption. And out of those 28 properties, there's about 6 or 8 of them that we can't find the owners, so we had to go to substitutional service, which is really delayed things as far as the tax sale progress goes. So tax services asked for to have the hearing for the auction postponed until December 12th. I'll bring forward a resolution to authorize that on this regular meeting of council. Included in the memorandum that is before you, I gave you a copy of the original erroneous resolution, a copy of the properties that are posted on the front bulletin board at City Hall with the remaining properties in tax sale, and copies of the resolution that is required to adjourn this auction until December. That's comments, questions? Councilor Wall?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If I read your report right, you say initially have 147 property on the tax sale list. And then they come to agreement 25, 15, 28. So it's still short quite a bit of more. What happened to those?
They paid.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Deputy Mayor Valentino?
Thank you, Mayor Smook. Yeah, I have no problem with amending the resolution and just correcting that. I mean, obviously we have to do our due diligence and these things happen. So I'm fine with bringing forth the amended resolution and also to change the tax sale date as per the request of tax service. That's fine with me. And I appreciate the tremendous amount of work this is to try and make agreements and contact everyone. And I'm hoping we can get this cleaned up. So yeah, I'm fine with it. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no more questions, who's in favor of the recommendation to move forward the amended resolution? Okay, carried. Thank you then. Thank you for all your and your staff's hard work that has gone into making this how it is. Next, we're going to go into public safety. A memo from the Director of Recreation and Community Services regarding the CSO agreement between Province of Manitoba and the City of Thompson. Sonia?
First, I wanted to introduce Daniel. Daniel is our new public safety manager downstairs. He's been with us for about a month, so I invited him to come tonight just to see what it's all about, so we can prepare for when he has to come and give a presentation.
Welcome, Daniel.
Welcome. So the CSO agreement, the amendment to the current one normally we come every year and we have to sign a new agreement. So this is pretty much eliminating that. We don't need to come to council anymore. We don't have to have a new agreement signed every year with the province. And we can move forward with any additional authorities that the CSOs have under the Police Services Act. And we don't have to let anybody know. We can just do whatever's outlined in the agreement. I think that's pretty much the gist of it. And I believe we can. We have to sign. Yeah, I think it was signed already, Anthony, or?
No, so this requires, under the previous agreement, the province had to give us 90 days notice. They're asking that council waive that 90 days notice. And this is the new standard template for all CSO agreements across the province. So it's not a one-off just for Thompson. This is what every community is now gonna sign this type of an agreement. So like the director said, it'll give council the ability, if you wanted to add traffic or other powers to the CSO, you could do so without having to go back to the province. So the request would be to bring both the agreement and the letter to the next meeting for resolution, and then council to sign it.
Any comments, questions? Councillor Wong.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Can you explain a bit about the 90 days notice? What's the pros and cons again?
There's really no pros and cons. The province had written that into their previous agreement, that they would have to give, either party would have to give 90 days to change the agreement. Then
Just the agreement,
yes, yeah. So
nothing to
just,
do with the power. or
No.
the-
just the legal paperwork.
Councillor Landmark.
I have a couple comments and a question, I guess. There's one thing that we've got to look at is on page 614.2A, the community to determine duties and powers from the act and or from the CSO regulation. I know it notes in our agreement what the powers and duties are at this time. And I'm just wondering when we should take a look at the other duties and that the regulations will allow, and which ones we want to add to or take away from that agreement. And also it also notes in there that the current agreement will allow us to keep the agreement, even though the province of Manitoba may change the act or regulations to add or take away some of the duties and responsibilities that the CSOs can take. And I just want to make sure that if there are changes made, of course, that we'd see them again and be able to give our CSOs a heads up and us as well. I think that's about it. I just don't know when we're going to be able to take a look at that act and regulation, or if we have.
Thank you. Sonia?
Actually, Daniel and I have been reviewing that, and we are going to be bringing something to council, a recommendation of council to see for the CSOs. We were kind of holding off until we had more CSOs because we currently only had 2. We have, which is going to be in our next report on public safety in a couple of weeks, but we have one that's going down for training, so that's going to bring us to 3. And we have one additional one that we're just waiting for some of those. So we're hoping to be up the 4 CSOs by November, December.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Councillor Chong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My question is, like this act is some kind of law for the CSO, right, to carry out in the community? And do this act or this agreement anything to do with funding?
No, it has nothing to do with funding.
Okay.
So when the city of Thompson first had the CSOs, that was the funding that we received to set that up as a pilot program. Since then, the province no longer funds any CSO programs. But some of the powers that they are giving through the new agreement and the changes to the Police Services Act would allow CSOs to generate revenue through tickets. So that's something that I believe they would be bringing forward to show you what your options are.
Thank you. Councillor Overdorfer?
Madam Mayor, just regarding the 90-day termination clause, that's referring to 20.1 and 20.2, correct? The agreement?
I think it was the 90-day clause was on the previous agreement, wasn't it?
I think it was on the previous agreement and they've eliminated it from this agreement.
So this is new language then for this agreement?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything? Deputy Mayor Valentino?
Thanks, Mayor Smook. I just have a couple of comments on this. If we're gonna be reviewing it, I mean, this is just, they've expanded the powers that community safety officers can do throughout the province. So this is just an agreement that we need to sign because we have CSOs. But when we go through the act and we go through what new powers or what things they can do, I would hope that we can have that conversation at the same time with RCMP leadership so that we're all on the same page, and possibly with our community safety and well-being co-chairs also, so we can see what the needs are that we should be focusing on what our community safety officers should maybe be focusing on. That would be my comments, but I'm fine with bringing it forth for signing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you. With that, I'll call for the question. Who's in favor of bringing it forward to sign the contract? Carried. There you go. Next, number 9 is recreation, a memo from the Director of Recreation and Community Services regarding cricket field in Thompson.
We were approached, actually last year by a gentleman who wanted to have a cricket field, put in Thompson. So Lyle and myself, went through the system to see what kind of, space that we had available within the city that we could accommodate this. It's pretty huge, space that they require to have a cricket field. The only space that we could identify that we would have within the city limits is, the space behind the Olympics, which we currently use for snowmobiling. Lyle did, I believe there should be a photograph attached, to this, yeah, the cricket pitch image, I believe we attached, an image, if we were to put it behind the door, that's exactly the space that we require. I know that there was a letter as well, and there's a lot of, apparently there's a lot of people now who are really interested in this. This is a good sport. I don't know, I mean, if we want to do something back there, I guess it would be up to council. And if they've got a committee, I'm not too sure if they've got a committee set up. I haven't spoken with this group of individuals that sent the letter. We were speaking to a gentleman who's actually no longer in Thompson. But this new group we have.
Thank you. So I do think that one of the things we do is have to talk to this group about the implications or just what they exactly want and how their involvement in it's going to be. You know, before we as a council can even make a decision, I think has to be a bit more planning go into this, but that was just my idea. Councilor Fitzpatrick.
Thank you. Thank you for your report, Sonia. I kind of figured this might come forward. I watched these guys play now probably half a dozen times. Usually play on Southwood Field over there. Yeah, I like the idea of having a cricket field. I don't know that behind the Northwest School would be my first choice personally. But, we have a lot of ball fields around town, such as behind the professional building. The area isn't big enough.
We've we've sat down and identified all of the vacant spots that we have within the city, and there's nothing that should.
Southwood Field would actually be the only one as it currently sits. That's what they're playing down over there.
I don't think it's set up for,
Well, no, it isn't set up, but the
No,
field
but-
itself is big enough.
yeah, the requirements that they need for that, they said it would fit, we've tried it, we've
Oh, okay.
measured, Lyle's measured it all out, and it will not fit.
Okay.
So they're using it right now, but on a. not
Yeah, on a scale down.
Yes.
Right, okay, thank you. Yeah, but, yeah, I kind of hope it moves forward because, it's an interesting game.
Thank you. Councilor Overdorfer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. 2 questions. One was kind of answered already, I guess, about if it was possible to convert an existing baseball field since we have numerous baseball fields in town. My other question being, have we identified yet an area to replace the track field? And my only concern would be whether we have space somewhere for that. And taking away space, the only potential space that we might have, I guess. So I would just want to know that. I am in support of going forward with this fund. I think it would be great to have a cricket field, but I also want to make sure that we have a track field as well. As we know, the pool is being built where the existing track field is. And that's a huge loss, I think, to our community. We know that we have athletes that excel in track and field in our community. So I think it would be disappointing to not identify a place to replace that. And I just want to make sure that this doesn't interfere with any of those plans. So we can consider that as we move forward with this as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Valentino.
Thanks, Mayor Smook. I would like to see this move forward. I think we're at a very preliminary start. Good timing when we go into budget for the winter. But I also think that when we have the ICE user group for all the user groups for our facility, maybe we should have a user group meeting with our outside sport, since we have such a big soccer group right now. And we also have U18 baseball started up. We have the slow pitch mixed league. Like maybe they should meet as a group and start to identify what they're using, how much they're using when we talk about looking for land for cricket. We should also talk to this particular group. If there is a Canadian cricket team and you want to start a sport, usually there's some startup funding available that maybe we could tap into if we're going to look at having to have some capital costs to make a cricket pitch to start this sport in Thompson. I don't think it's a provincial sport, but it is a Canadian sport. So there may be some dollars there also. Those would be my comments. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Martin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think I will agree with the in principle for now. But have you guys been into that field and take a quick look like how much cleanup that need to be done? Is it pretty disaster?
Beyond the northwest.
The location, the pig.
I heard.
I know the city use it as a dumping, snow dumping area. So how bad is?
I believe it was just done by a satellite picture. No
It
one
looked
went
nice
there.
in the satellite picture,
Yeah.
but I don't think so.
Satellite picture, nice and clean.
I've walked through there, it's pretty rough. I've walked through there, it's pretty rough.
It was just to show council a scale. But yeah, well, that's something we could work on.
I'm more interested to see what would it take to level it and make it usable, so that will be some cost for sure, yeah. I think that's one of the things we need to look into as well, right? So whether it's feasible or not, otherwise, I pretty support this in principle for sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor McCarter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Don't even get me started on something. But, there was no presentation. They should have come and presented to us what this cricket is about, And then even within the space, I'm in agreement with it, but the space, maybe they can use a smaller space for now, because it's not where we're not going to have these big tournaments yet, and that for them to inform Thompson us what cricket is. For them to present and what kind of space and what size and all the equipment they need and what needs to be done for tournaments, because there would be maybe one team here and notice the information like that should have brought to us.
Maybe if they need such a large landmass, it's something that could even be outside the city limits. They could explore,
The equipment.
LGD property and, build it, and they will come and have, something they go there too, sort of like, that their racetracks out of town, different things like that might be a problem. So I think I'm seeing our direction just to administration to pursue a bit more, get some more information, talk with the people. Is everybody fine with that?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, Sonia. Next, we're going into the legislative. 10.1 is a letter from Brian Delury, Director of Inspection and Technical Services, Labor and Immigration, regarding the proposed amendment to the certification requirements for refrigeration plant operators in Manitoba. Who's taking that one, Anthony?
So this is a legislative lobby effort of the city council over the last few years that we've recently gotten some more traction on. I think especially through the city's caucus process, where they're finally now provincially looking at the ice plant operators regulations and how to make them fit better with the needs of small ice plants versus requiring full power engineering training for the people operating the plants. There's a consultation portal currently open on the provincial government. It's closing on September 22nd. City staff will be making comments there, but if members of council also want to make comments, that's the place to do it. And then once those comments are taken in, there will probably be some regulatory amendments coming forth at the ledge, hopefully making this easier for smaller communities to run their ice plants.
Thank you. Any comments? Councillor Fitzpatrick?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, we just had a discussion about this at our last AMM meeting last week. And they found when they were reviewing the test, a lot of the questions didn't even pertain to the requirements, so it was an oversight on different people's parts. So now they're looking at the test and the regulations themselves and bring more in line with what communities actually need.
Thank you. Councillor Dunbar?
Hi there. Can we hear from our, well, through our directors, I guess, from our staff that operate the ice plants to see what their comments were? Like, I don't think many of us are experts on this, and I'd like to hear what their comments are before we throw our 2 cents in. Ours would be from an administration kind of view or hiring view, but I'd like to hear what they have to say about getting to meet the regulations, and what it would take or what it would change for our staff and employees.
Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, we'll get on the next committee of the whole. We'll have them bring information for council.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Valentino?
Thank you, Mayor Smook. This is good news, and this is the direct result of the mayor of Winnipeg and the mayor of City of Thompson bringing this to the forefront. And this is through Minister Marcelina's office that she's working on this. And I think that when they have a closing date of September 22nd, my concern is that it's going to take 6 months for them to get back to it. So I think that the closing date to give the information is September 22nd, but we should be following up to see where they're at, say a couple of weeks after that. We'll have to really push for them to make this happen now, because ice plants are already in force now for this winter. So there's going to be many cities and municipalities not functioning probably to the right amount of ice plant operators. So we need to make sure this is all done and ready to go for next spring, in turn for next fall, for next winter, so that you can hire people and we can have these arenas to stay open. So I want us to ensure that we bookmark this for October and that we follow up with the minister's office to see what's the timeline to have this changed. This is good. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Amber?
Just a note to remind council that council passed their AMM resolution that was voted on by AMM last year at the annual general meeting, and that's kind of what kicked a lot of this off as well.
And we continue to have these meetings with the different ministers and stress how important it is. We in Thompson are in rough shape, but some of the smaller communities of, 400 or 500, 1,000 people that just don't have people there with the right qualifications based on this, that they need to do some changes. Councillor Lundmark, did you still have your hand up, or you're done?
An accident, sorry.
Okay, no problem. Okay. So there again, before September 22nd, please get your comments to the province so we can move on that. What are we on? 10.2 is a response letter from Lisa Naylor, Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure, regarding information sharing during the 2024 provincial fire season. Okay.
So in the spring, Mayor Smook sent a letter to the Premier, as well as different members of the Legislative Assembly, asking that northern communities or communities in general be kept involved and informed on what's going on in the fire season, and be provided information from EMO, because the previous year, most communities were kept out of the loop. So there's a letter here now from Minister Naylor, basically saying that, listing the changes that are made to how communications are done with communities. And I can confirm that we are now receiving information daily from Emergency Measures Organization by keeping all the communities up to date on what's going on during the fire season.
Thank you. Any comments? Move on. 10.3 is a letter from Lisa Naylor, Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure, regarding amendment regulations under the Highway Traffic Act that will require adequate heat for passengers traveling by bus on Manitoba roads.
This letter just came to the city. We haven't solicited this, but it basically says that they're making changes so that buses have heat. So just information for council.
Thank you. Also, based on this though, there is a survey online, if you go and look, put in your concerns about bus travel and that. And I think it's very important with our bus. We've just had Mohican Bus Lines announced that they'll no longer be servicing the north from the Kaufman one and that. So and we've had some concerns in different bus lines and that. So definitely it's a follow-up type thing. 10.4 is a letter from the Thompson Community Development Corporation requesting a letter of appointment resolution for the Thompson Community Development Corporation Market Assessment and Immigration Partnership Initiatives. Anthony.
So previously, the Community Development Corporation had come to council asking for support letters for their federal initiatives. They're now, after our meetings with Minister Marcelino several weeks ago, they're now asking for letters of appointment for the provincial programs. So they're asking for a letter of appointment as well as a resolution of council.
Thank you. Councilor Moore.
I thought we already did that.
Council did it for the federal program. This is for the provincial program. They're run separately.
With the same organization.
The same organization's asking to represent the city's interests on at both levels of government.
So did they get the first one or not? We have no report at all after that. That's still under process.
The rural, the Northern Immigration Program, that could take months and months to hear back. So that would have been sent off to Ottawa. We haven't heard anything yet.
But the papers are submitted, right?
That's my understanding.
Okay, so I don't see a problem for supporting this as well. Thank you.
Councilor Lundmark. Oh, Deputy Mayor Valentino, sorry.
Thanks, Mayor Smith. Just a couple questions. Why would we need to pass a resolution is one of my questions. And the other thing is the number 2, the formation of an immigration committee. I'm wondering why, I don't know how to I guess say it, but so why would the city of Thompson and us, why would we be on this immigration committee as an employer or as the mayor and council for the city of Thompson? Because when I think about how we did the public safety survey, and that's how we set up the community well-being advisory committee, we weren't a part of that committee. They reported to the city of Thompson the results and the findings from the committee. So I struggle on why we would have a seat as the city of Thompson. What does that mean? And why we're passing a resolution to have a letter of appointment? I don't even, like, what does that mean to have people? Like, I didn't understand that, I guess. I need clarification. Thanks.
Anthony, do you have any answers?
It's not 100% clear to me either, but my understanding, what I think it is the resolution from the city council is basically telling the province that we want an initiative in the community. So I know I've had previous conversations with the province, and almost like when we've had MSOs or other people come work with us, we need a resolution for them to start working with the community. So that's what I can surmise. As to your other questions, I couldn't answer those. That would have to be answered by the CDC.
Counselor Robert or
Governor, I have similar questions, I guess, and I don't know if we're aware of when this is due, like if they're applying for an application, I feel like that part's not really clear. I don't really like necessarily have any issues with it, but, if there's time and if it's possible for them to come and just, like maybe speak to us about it, just so we have a better understanding, of what we are, I guess, passing a resolution for, to appoint them would be, I think, helpful, prior to that resolution coming forward.
Yeah, I don't believe there's a deadline, so we can make arrangements for them to come speak to council.
I think it would just be helpful to have more information before it comes forward, because they'll likely have a lot of questions around the table once it comes forward, right? So if we can get them answered in advance. Be helpful.
I know just from my comments, based on some of the comments that we've had from the minister when they were up here, I would like, further, more encompassing conversation to just see what the plans are moving forward. So, is everybody in agreement that we, ask for more information before we pass this resolution by a show of hands? Okay. So there is the direction there. 10.5, Central Canada Mineral Exploration Convention, Winnipeg, November 4th and 5th. Anthony,
It's just bringing it to the council's attention that the annual mining convention will be happening in Winnipeg, November 4th and 5th. And if there's members of council that want to attend, to let the administration know, so that we can make the appropriate bookings for those who want to attend.
okay, so everybody, Tammy, do you have a date that you would like people to let us know, or should we wait till Mel comes back?
That would go to Mel, or we could say middle of September. Really, there's no need for a date, but it's, yeah.
Well, it's just nice
Well, you
because
gotta
people
register,
don't
so.
get in, so. Say mid-September, please, look it up. And then 10.6 is a letter from Chuck Davidson, President and CEO of the Manitoba Chambers of Commerce regarding the 2023 Manitoba Mineral Development Fund Annual Report.
This one's to the mayor. It's regarding the annual report for the Manitoba Mineral Development Fund. Yeah, I guess it's just telling you the report's out if you'd like to read it, so.
Feel free to report. It's been a lot of money that has handed out in our province and for good things. Great. And next we have proclamation for the month of September 24 as Arthritis Awareness Month. So whereas nationwide community support has been critical throughout Arthritis Society Canada's 76-year history, enabling the organization to fulfill its mission to fight the fire of arthritis with necessary advocacy, innovations, and information and support. And whereas arthritis is a serious disease that causes debilitating pain and restricts mobility and diminishes quality of life. 6 million people in Canada, 1 in 5, live every day with the brutal realities of arthritis, and there is no cure. Without a greater spotlight on this growing issue, the number of people in Canada with arthritis will rise to 9 million by 2040. And whereas during Arthritis Awareness Month this September, we will raise awareness, mobilize and engage communities to understand the devastating impact of arthritis and stand with us to fight for an arthritis-free future. We recognize the work underway to develop a nationwide arthritis action plan to take on the big issues of arthritis, including prevention, equitable access to care and treatment, and elevating the urgency of the disease. And whereas the Arthritis Society Canada is a Canada's national charity dedicated to extinguishing arthritis for the good. Now therefore, by the virtue of the authority invested in me as the mayor of Thompson, the month of September 2024 will hereby be proclaimed as Arthritis Awareness Month in the city of Thompson. Thank you. Definitely arthritis is a debilitating disease, and as more of us older people are choosing to reside in Thompson and in the north, that the cold affects arthritis, definitely please support where you can. Thank you. Just a couple things before call for adjournment. Tomorrow is early voting, September 4th in the multi-purpose room at the TRTC, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Go out and vote for your choice. You need one city councillor and one school board trustee, so please vote. September 10th in the Bill Kamaski Wellness Center from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. is the regular and one more thing I'd like to mention is this Friday and Saturday, September 6th and 7th is Leisure Mart. I believe it's 5 to 9 on Friday and 10 to 2 on Saturday. At the TRCC, so get out there, register your family for all any activities that they wish to, and yourselves, and have a good week, everybody. That's all for adjournment. Councilor McIver, Councilor Oberdorfer, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Have a good week, everyone.
Yeah, take care, Jonathan.